Good morning, Century 21. It's Mike here in the office. I wanted to give you a couple things happening in the office. So my first line item there is F.u.D, F-U-D, and the case Schiller report. And F.u.D stands for fear, uncertainty, and doubt. And there's certainly a lot of that going around in the market. And I wanted to share this with you. Let me share this. In the absence of trustworthy, up-to-date information, real estate decisions are made increasingly are being made by fear, uncertainty, and doubt. These decisions can be hugely consequential for consumers and businesses. So why do I bring this up? Because the case Schiller report came out yesterday, and it's got some bullet points to it, which basically says that, prices are still high, but decelerating. So the consumers are going to hear that and think that the sky's falling. So it's your job as an agent to bring that down to the local level and actually show what's happening. So I looked at stuff yesterday, and I'll give you an example. And here's just an example, and I'm going to pick on Aileen a little bit. So Aileen and I had a conversation this morning about a buyer that she's working with who's looking at a multifamily, and they're looking at stuff for $599, and she says their pre-approvals for $510. I said, what service are you doing for them if you're not honest with them? Well, do you think they could get it for $510? No. Here's the report for the September multifamilies across the entire state. So if you look, percentage of original list price received, they actually were getting 1% over the asking price. And prices are down a little bit, you can see that, but so was inventory. Inventory was down almost 40%. So things are going to be down when you don't have a data sample that supports the same statistics as last year or the same number of units, unless prices are through the roof. But we're down almost 40% in inventory on the multifamily sector. And the month supply is down a third of what it was last year. Days on market down slightly. So, I don't think that Eileen's client is going to be a prospective value buyer that's going to get, almost 20% off the list price. I don't think that's going to happen. So, people hear the news, they hear the bits and pieces, they hear the case Schiller report bullets. It's our job to bring it down to the local level. So for those of you that don't know, the case Schiller report, it was a index of residential market areas, probably 20 metropolitan areas across the United States, that was created about 20 or 25 years ago by a Wellesley College professor named Carl Case and another collaborator who was a professor elsewhere in the middle of the country named Schiller. And they developed the case Schiller report, or the home index. And Standard & Poor's has since bought it, and that's where they're getting their data from, is they sample across the United States. So it's 20 metropolitan areas. So when they put this stuff out there, they're not looking at Massachusetts specifically. They're not looking at Walpole, Massachusetts specifically. So this is what the consumer's going to hear. And our buyers and sellers aren't going to go to the S&P CoreLogic Case Schiller website and actually read this thing. They're just going to flip on cable TV. And this is what cable TV is going to say. Home prices cooled at a record pace in August. S&P Case Schiller says, and then, of course, they've got to leave you hanging so that you look at the 3 key points. That's all they're going to remember, is that home prices are still higher than they were a year ago, but gains are shrinking. So they see shrinking, and now they think the sky's falling. It's just, you've got to read this stuff. You've got to look at where it comes from. You've got to then reevaluate it and integrate it into our market data, that we're having conversations with buyers and sellers correctly, instead of relying on these CNBC and CNN news reports that are broad brush samples of large market areas. Continuing on, Kristen Martin put Lakeville under agreement. That was a great job. Had a couple offers. I know that was a little tricky down there. Wanted to share with you again today the Century 21 agent experience. This is a thing put on Century 21 Corporate. This happens at the end of the month. It's the fourth Wednesday of the month, and it gives outsiders or even new agents here an opportunity to look inside at the brand and see what offerings and tools we have as a company. So that's 2 o'clock today, Eastern Standard Time, and I'll share that link with you in the event that you want to share it with someone. It's not me, it's the corporation that runs the Zoom. So I wanted to give you that. Couple business updates as far as transactions. Aileen Francisco, our newest agent, has an offer to purchase accepted, and we're about to sign her first P&S today for a buyer transaction that she's involved in. Yesterday, Erin Thomas closed 182 Lincoln. I think that was a record-setting transaction as far as speed to close. She put that on the market and closed it in literally, I think, 2 weeks. So nice job for Erin. Ed's closing Friday on 121 Country in Westwood. Just to give you an idea of how the business works, Ed obviously had the listing, and it was a bit of a house that needed work. So the seller agreed to just let Ed kind of market it to people that he knew and developers and agents who might have stuff. So kind of an off-market listing, if you will. And Ed ended up, he has a builder that he met 40 plus years ago that he's now sold a house to and sold a house for, and he's connected one of his seller clients to the same builder to do an addition on another house. And he went back to that same builder, and that builder is going to be closing on that this Friday. So that's a good job by Ed, but that's, you know, how the business is built, you know, one deal at a time. So that's hopefully a lifelong client for Ed with that builder. Ed also signed up a new listing in Walpole in the mid-5s, so just a heads up, I'm not going to reveal much about it. If you have anyone, you can chat with Ed, and he'll let you know details about that when he's comfortable letting it out. As far as new agents in the office, yesterday I met with one of our agents or prospects who had come through the career night, Pattie, and I'm excited to say that she did sign up with us. So Pattie, I'm looking forward to having you join us. I know it's going to be a couple weeks before we really get you on board, but excited to have you. And then Alvin actually referred an agent to me, sorta. He had a transaction and the agent came in, and I asked Alvin about the agent, and he said she was wonderful. So I took a swing at it, and I'm having a meeting with that agent tomorrow. So thank you, Alvin. And then I wanted to share with you a sample of a Moxie email I got from Ed. Over the weekend, Ed had set me up on Moxie for receiving listings in Norfolk. So I wanted to show you, it comes through with Ed, his picture, kind of nice. He's got his signature file. Anyways, when I go to click on this, and you need to be aware of this, is that the buyer, the recipient is going to be asked to create an account or a password. So they have to create an account with a password. And the reason they do that is because it allows them to bind to your database with faves and saves. So they can favorite things and save things. So now I'm in, and you can see I'm now on Ed's page. And if I, like anything or save it, it's going to write to my contact record in Ed's Engaged database. So if I make comments about it, it's going to show up here in Ed's database. So he'll get some notification that I actually like this house. So that's why they have to actually create an account or create a password. So now I'm sure tomorrow when I get the email, I won't have to log in per se. We'll see. I'll bring that update to you. But I just wanted you to be aware of that. So that's the email. It does a nice job, with the presentation. So just heads up, that's Moxie. I'll talk with you all later. Make it a great day.